and welcome to Melbourne, Australia. Sophia, I'm just going to get you to adjust that, or you can come a bit closer so that you're visible. Not that much, darling, that's way too much. All right, that's great, perfect. Sit down, hon. Perfect. So, welcome to Melbourne, Australia. I'm Sandy and this is Sophia.
Hi.
And I'm one of the leaders of the Messy Church at Ivanhoe and the Messy Church at Heidelberg, which are part of the Banyule network of uniting churches, and it's really a pleasure to welcome you to Melbourne tonight. If you'd like to make comments, I can see you there. It's nice to see Robin Douglas watching and a few others starting to come on now. So I'm going to light the candle, Soph. Why do we light the candle, hun?
We light the candle to remember God.
To remember Jesus?
Yes, to remember God.
And to remember that Jesus is the light of the world who is with us in the darkest of dark places. And Jesus is with us when things are difficult and painful and frightening and wonderful and happy too. So we light that candle tonight to remind us of our Messy Church family and all our wonderful friends around the world. There's some from Leicestershire and from Devon, and there's Lucy. Hi Lucy, lovely to have you in our house.
Hello.
It's great to have you here. So Lucy asked me to speak a bit about how things are in Melbourne, because I guess people around the world have heard, Soph, that it's pretty tough here in Melbourne at the moment.
Yeah.
So we're in what's called stage 4 lockdown, and stage 4 lockdown means that we can't leave the house for anything except work, or if we must go to work, if we can't work from home, and if we need to go shopping, we can go out to anywhere that's only 5 kilometres from home, and we can only go to, we can only walk anywhere 5 kilometres from our house, and we can only be out of the house for an hour, and we have to wear a mask if we're outside the house. And so if you're back on schooling at home online,
Yeah.
do you want to say a couple of sentences about how that is?
Well, it's not the most pleasant thing. I'd really prefer to be in the classroom, to be honest. Yeah.
So you can see your friends at least.
Yeah, I've got Jessie and Sonia's number and Emma too, and I've got my friend. I got a friend from our Messy Church, Samantha, Sonia.
So we're playing with
Bianca,
friends.
Bonnie,
Yeah.
and Minecraft.
So there's been some lovely things that the kids have been able to do together and spend time together, but it has been a pretty tough time in Melbourne, and it seems like the numbers aren't going down. So we'll be like this at least until September, and then hopefully in the middle of September we might go back to stage 3 when at least things are a bit easier.
Also, I do have a theory on how long COVID's going to last.
Do you?
Yes, so they'll either have a cure or it will end by Christmas or Halloween.
Okay, well, you heard it here first. We'll see if she's right. So I've got a list of things I wanted to tell you about. I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the things that we've been doing here in the Banyule network for our Messy Church communities. Tell you a little bit about our communities and what they're like. And we've sort of been trying to do some creative different things. We've been trying some stuff out. So I thought I'd tell you a bit about that and have a bit of show and tell and show you some pictures. And Soph's going to help me to do that too, aren't you, Soph?
Mm-hmm.
That's the plan. So, and if you want to talk, whenever I look over at my computer, I can see who's there. And if you want to make comments, I can read them too, because I've got them on the close screen to me here. So we can do that. If you want to talk to me, that'd be great. So, we have 2 Messy Churches normally in normal life. One that meets on a Thursday night and one that meets on a Sunday. And I do the same activities with both. They're slightly different communities, not very far apart, but a little bit different from one another. And so it's we're now in a situation where we're trying to keep all of those the 2 Messy Church communities together, as well as the rest of the churches in our network. So we have 4 traditional Sunday morning congregations and a 5 o'clock congregation. I run an intergenerational Sunday morning thing, which is a bit of a kind of somewhere halfway between what a Messy Church feels like and what a normal church feels like. So the kids run around a lot and do join in with the adults, and we talk about the Bible and make things together, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
That community is called Common Ground. And then we have a little contemplative community that meets on a Thursday night. So it's a bit of a diverse range of things we do in the network. So I just wanted to tell you, that, so as I've been planning for what I might say tonight, there's been really 4 themes that have emerged for me about the things we've been doing in this COVID time, which are a bit different from what we might normally do in normal messy church time when we're in the room together. The first thing that's emerged for us is the importance of thinking creatively, things that might have worked that we found didn't work, or we just had to try new things and to be prepared to take risks. We've tried a few crazy ideas. The last thing I'm going to tell you about tonight is a particularly crazy idea. One of the things that's been really good for us is that it's developed much better connections with the inherited churches, the traditional churches. So they're getting more used to the fact that the messy churches and the families exist and that they're there, because they can't normally see them. But that's been really exciting, I think, for some of our older people to notice the kids were there and the kids are doing stuff, and that the families are there too. So better connections and better relationships, and it's been really exciting to be able to keep the families connected with one another too. So we've been building strong community in this messy church time. And the other thing is that what's been really exciting for us is that we've been increasing the involvement of some of the families and the children in the planning for what we're doing. So they've been doing lots more, giving us ideas, and we've been trying stuff that people have suggested, haven't we, Soph?
Yeah.
Which has been really good fun. The other really fantastic thing that's just starting to happen in the last couple of months is including a lot more intergenerational leadership. So a number of our kids have been really excited to join in Jonathan's Messy Young Leaders, and we're really grateful to you, Jonathan, for setting that up and for inviting us all the way on the other side of the world to join you. Mm-hmm. And one of the things we're going to talk about at the end is a really interesting project that the kids are running for us or to do together, which we're really excited about, aren't we, Soph? Mm-hmm. But in the middle of all of that, to remain focused on the Bible, one of the other key messy church values, and to continue our practice of developing the holy habits. We've been really engaged with Andrew Roberts' work around the holy habits and really trying to improve our prayer and all of the things that we do together, like generosity and sharing things, all of the core values of messy church, really trying to do those things. So I'm going to tell you about when we started way back in March, when we first had first went into lockdown. We thought it was probably going to be a couple of weeks. We thought we might miss Easter Messy Church and then we'd be back and all would be well. We had a go at Messy Church in a bag, like a lot of you guys have been doing. And so this is our first go at that right back in March. We sent home, I don't know if you can see them there, I packed up some little things of glue, and this was when we were doing Ezekiel 37 and the dry bones. This was what I was trying to do at that point, was have the families from Messy Church and the families from Common Ground and all of the people from the 5 traditional services together. And we've actually kept that practice on a live stream on Facebook for the whole time. So all of our communities are worshipping together. It was really exciting for the older people to see the families with us. So there's a couple of our kids at the table in their house with the pasta that came out of my stash from a Messy Church sensory play pasta that I sent home in plastic Ziploc bags with glue. And this is what they made, and it was great that all the families did it too. So, and Sophia, we did skeleton prayers, didn't we? We had some
skeletons.
We made the pasta skeletons, and I think we had a prayer, if I remember, with all the pieces of the skeleton. And as we said, thanks to God, we put all the different. You put the skeleton together, didn't you? Out of a picture. So that was another thing we did. So we're trying really hard to keep people together in this time. that's how we started. It was a bit difficult for us because we were told pretty early on that touching things wasn't okay, and so the idea of putting stuff in bags really wasn't going to work for us because of what the Australian government or the Melbourne Victorian government was saying, and also I think I was going to have to find a way of delivering them or get them out to people, and we were having enough trouble trying to get orders of service to older people. So in the end, the messy church in a bag idea wasn't going to work for us. So we went to a slightly different model where we included activities as part of the live stream that I tried to think of things people would have at home. So basically all of the activities we've done have been with stuff that you should be able to find in your house. Now, you probably could have done the pasta activity with stuff in your house. It wouldn't have been brightly coloured like that was, but at that stage, pasta was one of the things that nobody could buy in the shops. So there was no way I was going to suggest gluing pasta when you couldn't buy it anyway. If you had it, you certainly weren't going to be mucking around sticking it on things. You'd be wanting to eat it. So the soaked in vinegar messy church pasta was fine for the activity. So the next thing we did, you remember these ones, Soph? What were these?
Those were they were paintings with
spices.
Spices, yes. Which I thought all of them smelled like banana.
So we had a whole lot of different spices, and we basically what I asked people to do was to draw or paint something that it happened in their week. They basically used oil and whatever they had in their house. So what did we use, Soph? Can you remember?
We used smoked paprika. Can't remember the other ones, but they smelled like banana.
We used smoked paprika, and we used turmeric, and we used cloves. That was what we had in our house. Some people used things like more like seeds, like cardamom and all sorts of different kind of things. So this was someone thanking God for the nature around their house and what they could see. And this is somebody... What was that one? So can you remember what that one was?
That was birthday party.
Oh, yeah, that was one of the kids' birthday parties and the presents that he got. So that was his prayer that week. So trying to, rather than sending stuff home in a bag, emailing home instructions, putting them on Facebook, Sophia and her dad and I sharing them in the live stream, and people doing them at home at the same time as we were doing stuff was what we've done, wasn't it, Soph? Mm-hmm. We've done all sorts of things, haven't we? But it's gone pretty well.
Yeah.
You've enjoyed it?
Mm-hmm.
And we've also had the kids sharing their work, like those pictures we've got there on Facebook, so that everyone could see what they'd done later on and we could talk about it. So after we realised at Easter after April that we weren't actually going to be going back to church for a while, we decided we'd have to try and do something on Zoom with the messy church communities. And I wasn't really all that sure that I wanted us all to try and do craft on Zoom. So we decided that we'd just do a celebration time, really. And the kids are all doing Zoom for school, so the easiest thing to do was to keep it really short. So the time, what we've decided to do is to send home an activity, something that they can do at home, and then after the activity, we get together at a certain time in the afternoon on Zoom, usually earlier than our normal messy church time, because the time that works for us at 5:30, when you can eat dinner and go home and go to bed, doesn't work when you're at home and you need to feed the kids so they can go to bed. So we've pushed it earlier in the afternoon. Everyone's at home, no one's going anywhere, no one's got anything to do. So there's no clashes with sport or any of the normal things, are there, Soph? Because nothing's happening. So we get together on Zoom, we share how we're going, we share what we've made, we sing some songs together, which has been fun, hasn't it, Soph?
Uh-huh.
And we do some praying and we hear a story. So it only goes for about 20 minutes, but that's kept everyone together as community. So this was the first thing we did. One of the families, this is part of the families coming up with the idea. One of these ones that we came up with was the idea that we could do a Lego competition, and one of the families came up with this Lego competition. I'm just looking at what people are saying. I really can't read it at the same time. and talk. Unfortunately, I'll have to look at it later. But if you'd like to talk about what you've been doing, it'll be really interesting for me to hear the same stuff that you've done. So this is one of the kids' ideas, to do some Lego prayers, because most people have got some Lego at home somewhere, or Duplo or something, and they decided that we should have some prizes. So we had some chocolate prizes, didn't we? I think some people are still waiting for their prizes because we haven't been able to safely deliver them with all of this lockdown.
Mine was so delicious.
So can you tell us what we did? This is one of them?
So that is...
Thanks be... No, don't talk about people's names. This is thanks be to God for...
my friend's garden.
Yeah.
Then this is someone else's who's thankful for church. And apparently he said that he couldn't get an inside photo because there's actually Mum in there preaching.
Apparently. Funnily enough, I don't ever preach at the church services that this kid goes to, but he's put me in the church with a pulpit and I'm preaching, so that's kind of funny, but lovely.
I think I've actually seen you preach before, to be honest.
You have seen me preach before, but not very often. Yeah. And this one was... That was
thankful for all the things we can do once this horrible COVID and lockdown and having to wear masks, pandemic problems going on.
So at that point, we were actually allowed to go out and we were actually going back to school. So this child was thanking God that we could go out and go back to school, which was pretty cool for a little while there. And this one...
That was thankful for coffee and rainbows. The kid and rainbows, adult coffee.
Yeah. So that was mums and kids. The other really cool thing that happened was that somebody, do you remember, had 40 and 50-year-old Lego people? She had Lego people from all of the ages of her kids and her children and her grandparents. So we got to see what 40 and 50-year-old Lego people looked like, and they were very different, weren't they?
I actually know what they already look like.
Yeah. I'm not quite sure what you're doing with your foot there, darling.
I'm not. I'm just stretching.
So that was another thing we did. And the most recent one we did...
which I think we're still doing.
Was the cupcakes, wasn't it?
No, we're not still doing. I thought you were talking about...
No, the next thing. So the most one we had the other week was cupcakes, and again, this is something one of the families thought up. So one of the mums said, "Oh, I remember when we did this at Messy Church, and we made cupcakes with faces on them, and if you want to get something, if people can't do that, then let's think of some other things they could do with whatever food they've got in their house." And so, do you remember we made a little ad?
Yes.
Are you going to be embarrassed if I show people your ad?
Do you want to embarrass me?
Of course, I always want to embarrass you. Would you let me show them your ad?
Well, if you want to embarrass me, of course I'm going to say no because it will embarrass me, but that's for you as an answer to yes.
I'm going to show you Sophia's little ad that she made up telling the families what to do with the messy cupcakes.
It was your idea.
Ah, here it is.
On Sunday at 2:30, we are going to have Messy Church. And for Messy Church, you're going to need to make cupcakes, biscuits, pizza faces, or Play-Doh faces, or fruit faces.
And why are we making those faces for Messy Church? Whoops.
For some prayers. So
we're going to pray about...
For the people we love. So you're going to need some stuff to make your face. So for example, you can use the cupcakes as the face bit, but you don't have to. You can use anything really, just anything you've got, even Play-Doh. Just don't eat the Play-Doh. And you can use things for your mouth. For example, lolly snakes. And you can use other things to decorate the fizz.
So we're going to think about who we want to thank God for. And we're going to make some faces of those people, is that right?
Yeah.
So if we don't have all of the things to make cakes in our house, what are some other things we've done at Messy Church that we could do again?
So cookies, pizza dough faces.
We could use some apples. We've got some fruit there.
You could use apples or oranges.
You could draw on them, or you could stick something in them and put a picture on top on some paper.
or you could just about do anything really.
So what time is Messy Church?
2:30
On
Sunday.
on Zoom.
Zoom.
And we'll see you on Messy Church on Sunday.
Bye.
Bye. So, did I succeed in embarrassing you? You had fun. That was all right. So, can you tell everybody what that picture is, Soph?
So this picture you can hopefully see on screen is everyone's fruit / cupcake / biscuit / Play-Doh / any of the things we mentioned.
So we had
face.
We had a waffle face. We had we had one of the ladies who's got a brand new granddaughter did a piece of bread with peanut butter and lettuce hair and sparkly eyes made out of sparkly hundreds and thousands. So that was sprinkles, just sprinkles. So that was fun. But we had all sorts of things there. I made the lady who's the chair, the deputy chair of our church council, out of a cupcake, and then I ate her, and she thought that was good fun. And down in the bottom right corner, Francis, it has a fruit person, and that's the guy that runs our mental health outreach, and you can tell he looks exactly like that fruit person, doesn't he?
If he was a fruit.
If John was a fruit, that's what he'd look like. So it was really lovely to share those and to have fun. And you can see we're all having a good time together. It was great fun. So, Soph, we now have another crazy plan, which came out of a Messy Church play date we had with one of the families. And the mum and I were trying to chat on Zoom. And what were you and Samantha doing?
Playing Minecraft.
They were playing Minecraft, and they wouldn't stop playing Minecraft to talk to us. And so the mother and I, Mandy and I, decided we thought this was a bit of a silly idea, but we thought, why don't we get the kids together to play Minecraft? So we had a messy Minecraft play date in our extra week of school holidays when all the parents were at home thinking, oh, what are we going to do with these children? It was a bit all over the shop while we tried to get them all connected up and get them to
friended and all that stuff.
It was a bit messy and a bit confusing and a bit complicated at first, but after about 20 minutes of frustration and learning to be resilient when we were frustrated, everyone was on. And so Sophia and the Messy Church kids have all been playing Minecraft together pretty much constantly since...
At least 5 minutes per day.
Constantly playing together, which is great because it means they all go to different schools. They don't see each other very much at all, or certainly not at all now. And so they're all actually playing together and having a lovely time and developing their relationships. So the next stage of this completely crazy, messy Minecraft idea, we're not sure what we're going to call it yet. We might call it Messy Miners or Church Crafters, I think was one of the other.
No, it was Church
Craft or Messy Miners or something.
And also, if there was a game with a church in it and you had to go to church and stuff, I would probably call it Messy
Church?
No.
Sorry. Can I just keep explaining now?
Churchcraft. I would call it Churchcraft.
Anyway, it still doesn't have a name, is what we're trying to tell you.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do, and what the kids... what we've done is set up a Minecraft server, and we're going to set up Bible stories in the Minecraft server. When I said this crazy thing to some of the people in our community, one of them who has friends who work for Scripture Union said, oh, Scripture Union in Canberra have done something like this with the teenagers. So I went, really? Someone else has had this crazy idea? So we've caught up with them, we found out what they're doing, and the kids are building a story. What story are you building for the first one?
Well, actually, you got stuck in survival.
No, well, so what was the story we were planning on doing?
Like the one where like one person one person built one on sand, and then I think like something happened to his house, and then the other guy built his one on stone, and then he turned out fine.
Okay, so there's a parable apparently about a guy that built his house on the sand and the other guy built his house on the rock. And what we're going to do then is do some wondering questions like you would in Godly Play, because we'll be able to go around the houses. We can make it rain in Minecraft. The house, the one that falls down flat on the sand or fall down, and we can pray. We can set up prayer activities and stuff like that in Minecraft.
How about we make like the one that is on the sand made out of gravel, because gravel actually falls under gravity.
Yes, let's not talk about that now, because people are listening. But the idea is that the kids are actually leading this, so the grown-ups are doing the safety stuff, making sure the kids are safe. We're watching what's going on. We're getting the other parents involved and making sure they know what's going on. Mm-hmm. But because none of the adults know how to work Minecraft, it means it's a great opportunity for some intergenerational leadership to happen. And the teenagers that we've got that do other things are also pretty excited about this too, so they're likely to get involved as well. So we're really excited that this might be something that might help us to grow really good relationships between different sections of our community at the same time as we're doing growing, having fun.
Yeah.
If the outrageous laughter and giggling that's been going on as they're creating it has anything...
Yes, we kept annually killing ourselves.
Yeah, having fun. So I'm going to just say a couple of prayers for Messy Church around the world, Soph. And you might like to pray too if you can think of something. I'm going to pray for all the Messy churches that are in lockdown, that people would find ways to be able to worship God together. And find ways to keep in contact by phone call or email or Facebook or something while they're in lockdown. I'm going to pray for the Messy Church team, Lucy and Jane and Dave, and all the other Messy Church regional coordinators and leaders right around the world, that God will bless them as they try and support Messy churches. I'm going to pray for all the kids in the Messy churches, that they might grow in their faith and come to know Jesus and to love him. I'm going to say thanks to God for Jonathan and his exciting idea about getting the young people together, and how much we've appreciated that. And I'm going to say thanks to God for you, Soph, for your being prepared to let me embarrass you in this live stream.
Actually, wasn't prepared.
You weren't prepared,
no.
But I embarrassed you anyway. So that's a win for Mummy. So thank you for joining us. It's been fun. I'm not sure you can see my candles over the top of with the Minecraft photo. But there we are.
Playing with the bees.
So thanks be to God for Minecraft, for Facebook, and for ways that we can Zoom, and all the ways that we can be community together and keep in touch and keep getting to know Jesus, and that we can be creative. One of the other creative things our network's been doing has been to produce some videos of songs we love to use on a Sunday morning. And I thought I would leave you tonight, say goodbye, by playing you our church's version of a song that we love very much. This song is written by the Australian music writer, Robin Mann, and the words are by a very dear friend of mine, Julie Perrin, who's a very, very competent and creative and exciting writer. She writes beautiful, beautiful words. And it's about the deep peace of the Australian bush being with us. So I'm going to leave you with this beautiful song put together by the Banyul Network singers, and wish God's blessing on you and your Messy churches wherever you are in the world. Thank you for joining Sophia and I. We've had fun. You want to say goodbye, Soph?
Bye.
Thank you for coming, and might see you again on the live stream with whoever's leading it next time. God bless you. Bye.